Donald Trump took an interest in North Korea well before taking the oath of office. Spring 2013 saw a rush of tweets out of Trump Tower, dinging China for taking it easy on the regime, smacking South Korea for not paying for American defenses, denouncing President Obama for going wobbly-kneed in the presence of adversaries. Trump's prescription? More muscle. This tweet in April 2013, just months into Obama's second term. Our president must be very careful with the 28-year-old whack job in North Korea. At some point, we may have to get very tough, blatant threats. Once he formally jumped into the 2016 presidential race, Mr. Trump made a habit out of both buttering up and dressing down world leaders. It would be a game changer, he promised. The key was to charm these leaders when possible and punch when necessary. The man who made his name in hard-nosed, high-dollar Manhattan was certain that his know-how, his negotiating skills, were going to be the missing piece. He hinted a summit like the one he's about to participate in might work.
One of the papers called the other day, and they said, "Would you speak to the leader of North Korea?" I said, "Absolutely. Why not? Why not?" And they come out, "Trump would speak to him." Who the hell cares? I'll speak to anybody.
The path to talks has been tumultuous. President Trump took office January 20th, 2017. Weeks later, the heat was already cranking up.
North Korea firing off a ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, confirmed as the president was hosting Japan's prime minister at the time at Mar-a-Lago. The leaders responding with a swift joint statement, calling the test launch intolerable, and Trump assuring the U.S. has Japan's back 100%.
Unbowed, North Korea tested one missile after the next. CNBC put together this timeline. All the launches during President Trump's first year in office. Some successful, some not. Then July 4th, 2017, Kim launched an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, capable of reaching the United States. The next day, Trump's UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, responded.
The United States does not seek conflict. In fact, we seek to avoid it. We seek only the peaceful denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and an end to the threatening actions by North Korea. Regrettably, we're witnessing just the opposite. Make no mistake, North Korea's launch of an ICBM is a clear and sharp military escalation.
The Kim regime kept shooting off at the mouth and into the air, while in the south, a new government led by President Moon Jae-in was taking shape. Moon based his campaign in part on engaging with Pyongyang. Meanwhile, the Trump team led the UN Security Council, including Russia and China, to pass new sanctions on North Korea. So while Haley worked to cut off Pyongyang from the rest of the world, President Trump reached for his go-to weapon, verbal threats.
He has been very threatening, beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
3 days later, he tweeted, "Military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded, should North Korea act unwisely." And in September, Trump spoke to the United Nations General Assembly.
The United States has great strength and patience. But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
Moon Jae-in had been president of South Korea for less than a year. He had major promises of de-escalation to fulfill. Caught between his diplomatic partner and his geographic brother, Moon set out on a peacemaking mission. As an opening bid, he invited North Korea to participate in the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea. The next month, in March, Moon's emissary to the United States came with a proposition conveyed directly to and accepted unilaterally by President Trump, who then sent the South Korean official out onto the White House driveway to make the announcement.
President Trump appreciated the briefing and said he would meet Kim Jong-un by May to achieve permanent denuclearization.
The U.S. president had agreed to meet with North Korea's leader for the first time ever. In April, another history-making moment, President Moon met Kim Jong-un in person at the DMZ. Meanwhile, the date of the Trump-Kim meeting was set, June 12th, and public statements stayed fairly sunny between the two nations. Kim released the last Americans held prisoner in North Korea.
Kim Jong-un did a great service. We're going to make a great deal for the world.
As June got closer, Kim made a surprise trip to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Suddenly, and no one's really revealed why, North Korea appeared to backtrack on its previous pledges, including denuclearization. And the United States and South Korea continued their joint military exercises, a major issue in Pyongyang. And North Korea called Vice President Mike Pence a political dummy for making the suggestion that Pyongyang could go the way of Libya, and warning, quote, whether the U.S. will meet us at a meeting room or encounter us at nuclear-to-nuclear showdown is entirely dependent upon the decision and behavior of the United States. It welcomed reporters to its only known nuclear test site and blew some of it up, though it appears that that was mostly for show, and some important equipment and tunnels may still be usable. Days later, May 24th, with less than a month to go, Mr. Trump canceled the meeting, writing a personal letter to Kim and posting it on Twitter. That's when South Korea's president had his second sit-down with Kim, hoping to save the summit. Then, North Korea's former spy chief, Kim Jong-un, made his way to the United States. First to New York, where he met with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Then to Washington with a giant game show-sized envelope from Kim Jong-un with a secret message. Kim says he's committed to denuclearization, but his definition appears to be significantly different from Trump's.
They want it. We think it's important. And I think we would be making a big mistake if we didn't have it. I think we're going to have a relationship, and it'll start on June 12th.
Here at the Blue House in Seoul, President Moon has been hoping for a summit pretty much just like this. He's being called the grand peacemaker here, but that might be a little bit premature. We know in the past Washington and Pyongyang have signed deals, but they all ended up falling apart.